Welcome to the Stocks channel, where we buy the dip in bull markets and we don't panic sell. My name is Cory, and tonight's episode will be your daily stock market technical analysis update. First up, let's go ahead and take a look at the S&P 500 SPY ETF. So let's crack open this chart and see what's going on in the stock market today. Alright, so the price action on the SPY ETF, we did see a gap up this morning, and it looked like we were going to start running all day long. But by the end of the day, we got flushed out and closed that gap, and actually closed down for the day negative 0.45%. Now looking at the price action, it is not looking the most bullish below the 13 and the 5 EMA, but we're still above a positive sloping 20 simple moving average. We also still have the benefit of the bull trend because all of the moving averages are still stacked to the bull side. But we can definitely see that 5 EMA is starting to negatively slope towards the 13 EMA, and if it does cross under the 13 EMA, we will start to see some bearish trending picking up momentum. However, in the medium and the long term, we still have a bull trend. The 20 simple moving average and the 50 EMA are still positive sloping, and the 20 simple moving average is going to start pushing up on the price action, and we should find support at that level. So on the SPY ETF, watch for support at that 20 simple moving average, which is just below $364. That should be a good buy the dip opportunity because this is still a bull market. So we want to buy the dip in bull markets, and we don't want to panic sell. Any selling is an opportunity to put our cash to work, and we always want to have enough cash to buy the dip. We don't want to go 100% in at the first bit of selling because there's always the chance that the selling can pick up momentum, and we always want to have cash on the sidelines. I go through how to navigate this market every single day in the Stocks channel Discord, so if you're still not sure how to trade this market, you might want to consider joining the Discord, which you can find in the link of the description of the video. So right now on the SPY ETF, I'm still calling this a short-term dip, and I am looking for the trend to continue back up very soon. So my price target on the SPY ETF remains at $377, and we're likely to continue heading up towards that price target to finish out this year. So look for this selling to reverse as early as tomorrow and go back on the bull where we started this morning. We saw the price action did gap up and we started to have a bullish day. But we did get that selling, and you can see if I switch over to a 1 hour chart that the majority of that selling was in the last hour of the day. So is this a little bit of a bull shakeout and fake out before we start heading higher? Only time will tell. But going to the daily chart, we still have support just a little bit lower at that 20 simple moving average, and we still have a nice bullish trend, which we're going to take advantage of, and we're going to use this as an opportunity to continue to go long. If we do start breaking and closing below the 20 simple moving average and that 5 EMA starts crossing below the 13 EMA, we could start to see a little bit of bear momentum picking up. So watch for those indications and watch that price action. Next up is the Nasdaq 100 QQQ ETF, and we did see a much more bullish sign on the Nasdaq today, closing up 0.73% and closing over the 5 EMA. So the Nasdaq is looking much better than the S&P 500, and we do have this nice gap that opened up below, which we could come down and close at a price target of 302 before we find support, which is also going to be right at the 13 EMA level. However, in bull trends, there's no guarantee that we have to close those gaps in any short amount of time. With a bullish trend, we could continue back up towards my price target at 312 and then eventually close that gap later on when we finally start seeing a correction in the near future. So right now, just pay attention and know that gap is there at 302, and that should be a nice support level if we do start seeing any selling on the Nasdaq 100. We could still also come all the way back to the 20 simple moving average where we did find support last week. So that level is going to be somewhere around the $300 level. So there is some downside left, but we're likely going to find some very strong support levels just a few dollars lower than today's close. Remember, that doesn't mean we have to head lower, so I'm not expecting to see selling. But if we do, those are the support levels that you're going to want to watch. So on the Nasdaq 100 QQQs, we have some really good bullish price action, and we still have this really strong bullish trend. Remember, the Nasdaq 100 is likely going to lead the way in this next bull market. So it is likely we're going to see the tech sector continue to outperform the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones. So my price target of $312 is likely going to be met before the end of the year. So continue to watch that level, and that will be a good level to start trimming some pretty good amount of profits and getting back to cash to get ready to buy the next dip. As traders, I constantly say we don't go broke making profits. So don't ever be afraid to take some profits off the table and have some cash. I don't ever suggest going 100% cash because you're more likely going to FOMO into a market if you're not in it at all. If you're getting fearful and you're getting scared of a possible correction or a possible crash, just scale back. But you don't ever have to fully pull out of the market 100%. You can always stay in a small amount, and if there's a dip, you always have cash to buy the dip, and you're gonna more than make up for whatever you lost when you're buying the dip on the way back up. So the Nasdaq 100 is looking really good, and I'm looking for a really nice bullish week for the Nasdaq 100 as we continue to grind higher towards our price target. On the Dow Jones DIA ETF, we closed down negative 0.61% today, and we're right about on top of that 20 simple moving average. We did close below that support level at 300, and we're sort of just consolidating around this 300 range, building up momentum for a move to the upside or the downside. With a bullish trend, it's likely that the move is going to break to the upside, so we want to be patient and we want to watch the Dow Jones and see which directions it's going to go. But right now we have the 5 EMA still trading over the 13 and that 13 still over the 20. So we still have the benefit of a bullish trend, and the price action is still looking pretty good with a close above the 20 simple moving average. So I'm looking for the Dow Jones to start heading back higher very soon, and we did have that really nice gap up this morning even though we did close lower for the day. So we are seeing price action to the bull side. We just had a little bit of a weak close for the day, and that likely could reverse as soon as tomorrow. Next up is the ARK-K ETF, and we see this $125 resistance level continuing to give ARK-K a lot of problems. We need to see a close over 125 to see that ARK-K can continue to go higher. We did see ARK-K get really overbought and really overstretched, so it is likely it needs to cool down. So there's always going to be a support level for ARK-K at the 5 EMA, and if we close and break below 5 EMA, you're going to want to watch this gap below at $117. We also have the support trend line, which is right about near that gap at around $116. So there is definitely some potential downside on ARK-K if we start breaking and closing below the 5 EMA. If we start breaking and closing above $125, I do have price targets of $128 and $134. Those levels are only going to be price targets if we can break and close above 125. So watch that level because it is a key resistance level for ARK-K. Next up is the VIX, which is our fear indicator, and we do see the VIX starting to spike, which could mean that volatility is coming back to this market. Volatility is not always a bad thing, and as traders, it does open up a lot of opportunities to make some quick profits. As the VIX does head higher, we will see more drastic price swings. However, that doesn't mean that the market has to go bearish. We see the VIX is closing right at my resistance level at 24.8, and if the VIX does start breaking and closing above 24.8, it is likely we could see a lot more selling in the market. But right now, we're closing right at a resistance level, and the VIX could start heading lower from here. So this could have been short-term selling, and we saw that short-term spike in the VIX, and we do see the VIX is still forming a lower high. When we zoom out here, the VIX is still in a downward trending motion, and the price action is still below resistance levels. So watch that 24.8 level on the VIX. If we start breaking above 24.8, we will see some pretty significant volatility in the market yet again. However, if we did see resistance today and the VIX starts heading lower, we're likely to see the stock market just continue to start heading higher towards our price targets. On the US dollar, we did have a little bit of a red day, and it does look like we found intraday support at our previous support level of 90.4. So the dollar's still in a very strong bear trend, which you can see very easily with these moving averages all trending to the downside, and the price action is still closing below the 5 EMA. So a weak dollar is a strong stock market, and it does look like the dollar is heading down for another leg lower. A weak dollar should be strong gold, but we are seeing gold continue to cool off, going down negative 0.67% today. However, gold could be heading into an area where it's just cooling off from this impulsive move, and it's getting ready to head higher for another impulsive move. It is possible we dip as low as 1810, but I would expect to see gold find support there and start bouncing for our next leg higher. So the first price target I have on gold is 1860, and if we break above 1860, it's likely we're going to head back to 1930. On silver, we still see some consolidation and some cooling off after this nice impulsive move, and our silver price target is still up here at $25. It looks like we could be getting there very soon. On Bitcoin, it looks like the bulls are back, but we're still seeing some really low volume down here, so I don't see a lot of bulls buying in any meaningful way. We still look like we're forming lower highs, and it still looks like we're in somewhat of a consolidation and a cool off ever since we hit the price target at 19,600. So it is possible Bitcoin could dip as low as 17,000, and it looks like that support level and the 50 EMA are about to be in the same level very soon. So that could be a strong support for Bitcoin if we do see any selling. If we break and close above 19,600, my next price target is above at $21,200. Next up is Apple stock, and we saw Apple going down about negative 0.5% today, and we did close and find support right at that 13 EMA. So Apple still has a bull trend going, and the price action still looking really good, but we are going to have this resistance level above at $124. So Apple needs a break and close above 124 to get to our next price target up here at $136. Apple is a market moving stock, so if Apple breaks and closes above 124, it's likely going to start dragging the rest of the stock market higher with it. On the financial sector, we saw a bearish day with the price action closing below the 20 simple moving average. So we are getting some bearish price action on the financials, but we still have the benefit of a bullish trend. So we will see if financial bounces soon, but it is starting to look like this bullish trend could be reversing very soon if the price action continues to head lower. On the industrials, we see a very similar sign with the price action closing well below the 20 simple moving average, and it looks like the trend could be reversing very soon, which could be starting to head into a little bit of a short-term bear trend on the industrials. On healthcare, the price action is still above the 20 simple moving average, and we still have the benefit of a bull trend. However, it could be reversing soon and we could be heading into a bear trend if that 5 EMA starts crossing over to the downside. So we are seeing a little bit of bear trending picking up momentum. However, it's not too late for the bulls to reverse the bear trend because we only need a couple of good days of price action to reverse what we're seeing in the charts. So going back to the S&P 500, we're definitely seeing a spike in volatility and we are seeing some weakness in some of the other sectors. The tech sector is by far looking the strongest and we're looking for tech to lead the way. So if tech can continue to climb higher, we could see the other sectors start catching up, but it will be a little bit of a lag. We could see a little bit of rotation going on with some of that money going back into the tech stocks now that the vaccine is getting closer. So be patient and let this play itself out, and always remember to take some profits and have some cash ready in case some of this selling does pick up momentum. We'll always have cash on the sidelines that we could put to work at lower prices. Just remember that panic selling is not a strategy, and anytime we see some volatility and we see some selling, we just want to position ourselves to take full advantage of that volatility, and we want to have some cash that we can put to work, and we want to find the right trades at the right time so that we're not jumping into a trade that's a losing trade. Some of the best trades you can possibly make are always going to be our hot stocks. Alright, our first hot stock of the night is going to be Tesla, and we saw Tesla having a pretty bullish day today, closing up 4.89%. The price action's closing back above the 5 EMA, and we still have the benefit of a very strong bullish trend on Tesla. So I still have Tesla in this fifth wave, and we could head higher and finish out somewhere around $700 before we see the end of the fifth wave. So remember, in order to see $700, Tesla needs to break and close above 650, and that will be an indication that we're likely heading to our price target at 690. We'll go ahead and round 690 up to 700, and that could be a temporary top for Tesla stock. In order for Tesla to go bearish, we would need to see a break and close below 587. So watch 587 and watch 650 for your bear bull cases on Tesla. On NIO stock, we did see a gap down this morning, and we did get down to our Fibonacci retracement support level right around that $39. We did see it close higher for the day, and we closed somewhere around $41, which was another support level. So the question is $41 going to be resistance, and are we going to continue to head lower tomorrow towards the 50 EMA right around $38? Or was that the bottom and we're likely to start bouncing? The way I'm looking at this chart on NIO is I have a fourth wave ending, and I'm not too interested in timing the bottom perfectly. We're getting close enough to the bottom for me to start accumulating a long position, and my price target on NIO is up here at around $60. So I'm not too worried about timing the bottom perfectly, and I'm going ahead and accumulating my long position now. So with NIO somewhere around the 50 EMA between $38 and the support level right around 41, that is my accumulation range for NIO, and I am starting to accumulate long. So NIO is one of those hot stocks which once it starts going parabolic, you're gonna wish you were in and you're gonna enjoy the wild ride, but you don't want to chase it. So if you're too scared to buy NIO in the low 40s and high 30s, don't bother chasing it when it's in the 50s. Be disciplined and accumulate when stocks are dipping and when they're cooling off, and don't chase them later when they go parabolic. Next up is Palantir stock, and I still see Palantir in a correction, and it's still cooling off, and it's getting ready to break to the upside or the downside. In order to get bullish on Palantir, I need to see a break and a close above price target of $29. It's still fully possible that we head all the way back down to the 20 simple moving average and our previous support level at $24. So on Palantir, it's still cooling off and it's still consolidating, and we need to wait to see which direction it's going to break. These consolidations could be bearish or they could be bullish because they could break to either side. So if it breaks to the downside, we could see $24 yet again, or maybe even come all the way back down to $21. If it breaks and closes above 29, we're likely heading back to $33, and we could break 33 and start heading to 36. So Palantir stock is getting ready for a big move, but we want to wait and watch to see which direction it's going to go. Next up is NVIDIA stock, and I know a lot of you have been asking to bring NVIDIA back to hot stocks, but I was waiting for NVIDIA to prove itself and that it belonged right here on the hot stocks. So sure enough, today it proved itself, going up 2.27% and closing back above its 20 simple moving average. It did look like it was having some sort of a breakdown out of our support level down here, but it did look like it was a false breakdown and we're back within the trading channel. It looks like we found support on the 20 simple moving average on a weekly chart, and that was the key for NVIDIA finding a temporary bottom on a support level, and now it looks like it's bouncing in a big way. So going back to a daily chart, we're starting to show some bullish price action, which is really good, and we just need a bullish trend to pick us back up to these 540s. Once NVIDIA can break and close above 545 and 547, we're likely heading back to 570 in a flash. If NVIDIA can break above 570, our price target is still way up here at $620. So NVIDIA is looking really good, and it's looking like it's going to be a hot stock yet again. Next up is TWLO stock, and remember, I'm very bullish on this stock, and it just continues to run day after day. And today we see TWLO going up 2.24%. It is starting to reach some of my price targets up here at 355, and it does look like we found some resistance there. But the real price target on TWLO, now that we've broken above 338, is all the way up here at 373. So it looks like TWLO is having no trouble getting up to the price target, and that will be a good area to start trimming positions and get ready to buy the next dip. Possible support levels on TWLO are a previous resistance at 338 and of course that 5 EMA. So TWLO is a very bullish hot stock, and it looks like it's going to continue to run. Next up is DraftKings stock, and we do see it cooling off a little bit ever since it broke out of this 1 hour chart resistance level, and our price target on DraftKings is still up here at $54. We still have bullish price action over the 5 EMA, and all of the moving averages are still very strongly bullish trending, which is telling us that the trend is likely to continue to push the price action higher and higher. So DraftKings is still a hot stock, and our price target is still up here at $54. Our next hot stock for the night is a brand new hot stock, and it's Splunk Incorporated, ticker symbol SPLK. Now I'm giving you this hot stock at the ground level, and it's literally at a very strong support level that it's starting to bounce off of. Today we saw some really bullish price action closing back above that 5 EMA, and we went up over 2.66% today. So Splunk is looking really good, and I have the price target all the way up here at $201 to close this previous gap. So I'm very bullish on this stock, and I'm looking for Splunk to start running very soon. So I'm giving you this hot stock very early because it's gonna start being a runner, and I wanna let you know in the very early stages because that's what finding hot stocks is all about. So Splunk's looking really good above the support level of 152, and I'm looking for the first price target all the way up here at $201. Remember, I go over hot stocks every single day, and I find new hot stocks as often as possible on the Stocks Channel Discord. So if you're interested in the Stocks Channel trading community, we're a trading community of discipline and profits. You can find out how to join in the link in the description of the video. Remember, we're in a bull market, so you want to buy the dip and you don't want to be a panic seller. There's definitely some volatility in this market, but just be patient and don't be afraid to trim your profits and have some cash ready to buy the dip. I wish you all good luck out there, and I hope you're crushing your trading. And as always, I will see you in the next episode.